This year is going to be tough. Food prices have already skyrocketed and all signs are pointing to them continuing to rise. Right now is the best time to start preparing for what you're going to be able to put on your table next season. All the websites still have seeds, but they're going to be running out soon. I've made the mistake of waiting until January, February timeframe to order my seeds for the season. And it was a mistake because I couldn't find any seeds to actually order. Yes, you can go to Lowe's or Walmart, Home Depot, whatever nursery you have locally, and you can get plants that are already grown. But planting your own seeds is going to save you a whole lot of money. This is going to be a real quick video today, but while we're going through this video, I want you to think about what are your plans for putting food on the table next year. As you think about it, go down in the comment section below and let me know what your plans are. I really enjoy hearing about all the different things that people do, and it gives me ideas for myself as well. There are many ways of planting a garden. What a lot of people do, what I did for a lot of years, is just get a piece of graph paper and draw out your garden area and then start plugging all the plants in there. There's also different computer softwares that you can use to plan out your garden, which that's what I've kind of moved to because it makes life a whole lot easier. But before you even get started, I want you to consider your space. Are you limited on your space? Because if so, there's vertical options. You can get trellises, arch trellises. We used a GreenStalk vertical garden last year, and I'll tell you what, that thing's pretty sweet, and you can grow pretty much anything in one of those. So if you do have limited space, there's still ways of growing more food than you currently are. Even if you do have a lot of space, can you make more space? Our garden is about 1,000 square feet, which isn't small by any means, but it's not huge either. But with the plans in place that we have for next season, we're gonna be doubling our output of food just because of the vertical space we're gonna be utilizing. We're changing our entire game plan for our garden next year. Historically, we've grown like 200 plus pepper plants. I love growing peppers. That's like what got me into gardening in the first place. But based on what I'm seeing at the grocery store and how much everything's costing, our entire plan is changing this year. We're going from growing 200 pepper plants down to about 25. Everything else is going to be food that the rest of my family is going to eat. Once you have a general idea of what your space is going to look like, start writing down on a piece of paper or a computer software, start writing down everything you want to grow. Like physically write it down or physically put it in your garden planner, do something, but actually get it on paper, on your computer, somewhere where you will not be forgetting it. I want you to start thinking about what the spacing of different types of plants are and what plants are more sun-loving versus shade-loving, and what kind of sun or shade do you have in your garden? For me, I'm 50-50. We get a lot of shade because of the trees that we have, but in the middle of the garden, we also get some decent sun. So I'm able to put sun-loving plants in the sun and shade plants in the shade. All right, now is the time where we need to start putting those plants that you just wrote down, you need to transfer them over to your actual garden plan so you can really start narrowing down what you actually are going to grow this season. For me, I'm going to jump over to my iPad and show you exactly how we did our garden plan. So we're actually using a website called growveg.com. I paid my own money to use this website. It is an affiliate of any kind. If this isn't going to be something you can do exactly what I'm doing, but on a piece of paper. Draw it out by hand, and it's going to work pretty much the same way that this is. Okay, so this is the website here. Now let's jump over to Garden Planner, and this is what it brings up here. And I'm going to go to Garden Planner here, and I'm going to go to Open Plan because I already have a plan through them. This is the one that I'm working on currently, so I'm going to go Open Plan. And this is where it's going to show exactly what I have for my garden. So when I said draw it out, I really mean draw it out. And if you look here, this is about 1,000 square feet. It's a long rectangle, and this is the area that we're working with for our garden. And this coming up year, we're actually building 10 raised beds, and that's what these are. These are all 4x8 raised beds. And then what I'm doing is I'm doing arch trellises all down the middle. So that way I can utilize some vertical space. Now I did already think about the sun aspect of all this, and the sun actually comes up over here and goes right down the center of everything. So we might get a little bit of shade here and there, but for the most part, that sun is going to be going right over the top and we won't have any issues there. So what I want you to do in your own garden planner, whether you use this or pencil and paper, is start putting in, just draw in exactly what you want to grow in each bed or each section of the garden, whatever's going to work best for you. What this is going to do is going to narrow down exactly what you actually can grow. With this program right here, if I were to put too many of these in one space, it would come up red and show me that I don't have enough room. So I actually had to narrow down what we're doing here just to make everything fit in here, because this tells me what's going to fit and what doesn't. So if you're using a piece of paper, make sure you're looking at the spacing of plants while you're putting them into your garden, so that way you don't end up getting way more than you can actually plant. You're going to end up with some kind of plant list like I have here. And there's a little bit more work to this if you're doing it on pen and paper. But what I want you to do is write a list of all the plants you are growing and how many you're going to be growing. This software also tells me when I'm going to be planting and harvesting. But what's most important here is you want to be narrowing down what you're going to be growing and how many of them you're growing. I already bought all of our seeds for the whole season, and I used this right here. I pretty much went down this list, went to various websites to make sure that I could get everything that I need and not overly spend. I used to do the same thing on pen and paper, and it works. It really does. Narrow down what you're growing so that way you can purchase your seeds and get ready for the season. There's a whole lot more to this website and computer program, how this whole thing works. It can tell me companion planting, succession planting, all sorts of cool stuff. So if you're interested in me doing like a full tutorial on this, let me know. I'd be happy to do it. But for now, that's all we needed it for. I just needed to show you what visually you should be doing to best plan out your garden. Now that you've got your garden all laid out, all ready to go order your seeds. As soon as this video is over, I want you to go order seeds, because if you wait too long, they're not going to be available anymore. We use a few different websites for our seeds. The number one we used this year was actually MI Gardener, and I'm sure you've seen their YouTube videos, and they actually have some really good quality seeds for a price that you cannot beat. We bought everything we possibly could off of that website this year, and they actually shipped yesterday, so they should be here soon. Whatever they didn't have, we ended up going to Baker Creek Seeds, Johnny Seeds, and I think Burpee. This was like a really high level overview of how to plan your garden. So if you have any questions that need to go deeper than what I went into today, leave them down in the comments below. I'd be happy to help you out to the best of my ability. If you're getting value out of this video, boop the like button, maybe head down and go subscribe to our channel. Gardening can be overwhelming. Just learning all the different ins and outs of when to plant, what can work in what area, the sizing, all sorts of crazy stuff. It's overwhelming, but when you break it down, it's actually pretty simple. You just need somebody to show you how. And so that's why the next thing I'm gonna ask you to do is go click on this playlist right here. And this is gonna be our playlist of different gardening videos that will help you get started and help you get planned out for this coming up season. Go watch that playlist and I'll see you in those videos.